Beginning. All right, so since the recording just started, once again, I'm Thomas Flake. I am the program manager for the Skills to Succeed Academy across the US. And we're here to see a demo and overview of the Academy, if I can get this to share. Bear with me 1 minute. All right, there we go. So many things. Oh, you got a glimpse of my Atlanta background there. So, all right, here we go. So if you're not familiar with Accenture, that's the company that I work for. We built the Skills to Succeed Academy around 7 years ago, I think now, in the UK, and it's expanded across 9 different countries, but it's part of our Skills to Succeed program. Throughout the globe, we have trained over 7.5 million people with the skills needed to get a job or succeed at work. And that's through our many Skills to Succeed platforms. But throughout the nine geographies where the Academy sits, we've trained over 400,000 learners, and 136,000, I believe, are here in the US right now that we've trained. So I really like to kick off this demo and overview with this video. I think it really sets the stage for what the Academy is all about.
Welcome to Skills to Succeed Academy. Your journey to success begins now. It's time to take ownership of your career and build the right skills for your future. Accenture's Skills to Succeed Academy is a free online program designed to guide you on this journey from choosing the right career to finding a job and achieving success in the workplace. Skills to Succeed Academy offers interactive, highly effective courses. It's a fun, engaging way to learn through simulations of real-life work scenarios, like an interview or the first day of a job.
So you must have some weaknesses. Nobody's perfect. What would you say your weaknesses are?
These simulations let you decide what the characters should say and do, and you can even learn from their mistakes.
Well, I'm not too good at getting up in the morning. I'm just not a morning person, which makes me really late for things. I really need to work on that. I've got no get up and go.
Different combinations of choices lead to different outcomes, so you can see how things turn out based on your decisions.
One of my biggest weaknesses used to be taking criticism. At school, I used to get really defensive when teachers spoke about my work. Now I know that feedback can be a good thing, so I get less defensive nowadays.
Good example.
It's just like real life. Join Skills to Succeed Academy today and take ownership of your tomorrow.
So I just really like that video. Like I said, I think it sets the stage for what the Academy is all about and how kind of unique it is compared to other online learning platforms. But first and foremost, the Skills to Succeed Academy is a completely free online learning platform that helps your learners build the skills and confidence that they need so they make good career planning choices. They get the job that they want, and once they start that job, how to be set up for success so they can keep it. Like, why when I start presenting is somebody ringing my doorbell, whatever, they'll go. It was designed for the early job seeker, the opportunity youth ages 16 to 24, but the content really resonates across all age demographics and types of learners. So, like Goodwill is our largest partner in the US, and they've trained 65,000 learners with all age demographics. And even the National Council on Aging uses it in a senior citizenship training program. So, and like I said, when we built the Academy and it expanded across the 9 countries, we worked with subject matter experts so when we built the US version in 2017, we worked with subject matter experts here in the US, including employers, career advisors, and job seekers themselves, to really understand the barriers that are faced and the mistakes that are made during the employment process. And then we tailored the Academy to those findings. And it's a very media-rich and an immersive way to learn by doing. As you saw in that video a moment ago, it's a gamified learning approach to interviewing or what it's like on the first day of the job. And we worked with a gaming developer to build those performance simulations. So it's just a very effective and fun way for your students to learn or participants to learn. And I use the word fun as a quote. I had a high school senior that put in the Zoom chat after a workshop that we ran and went through an interview simulation. He said, "This is the funnest thing I've done all school year." It's very flexible on how you can roll it out. You can assign it in like individual self-study format, like homework. You can do workshops live as a group in a classroom or on Zoom or Teams or something like this. You can do one-on-one coaching, like an advisor approach, where you create custom learning journeys for individual needs, or any combination of those. And it's based on the idea of blended learning. I'll show you more of this later, but we've got online modules like you saw in the video there. We have offline activity packs that deep dive into the content. And then we have discussion guides that make the rollout of the Academy easy for you. And you'll see all of that live here in a second. It's really easy to implement since it's just web-based learning. There's nothing for you to install, configure, or customize on your end. You just use our access codes to create your login and you're ready to go. We now have 11 courses with 108 modules. It was three courses with 36 modules, but we have since added the lower 8 courses here. So for those employability skills at the top, though, that is where that's the core curriculum in the Academy. It starts with you and your career. In there, you're going to learn about the importance of career exploration, how to find the right career for you, and making sure that you're taking into account what your skills are and your interests and what motivates you so that you're finding the right job for you. And then you're going to create an action plan to walk away from the Academy with to make sure that you get that job. But getting a job is really the heart of the Academy, in my opinion. And there you're going to learn, you're going to start identifying your skills and understand transferable skills. You'll learn how to create a resume and tailor it to a specific job opportunity, how to make a good first impression and why that's important, how to get ready for and succeed in all types of interviews, whether that be a face-to-face interview, a panel interview, a phone interview. And we just finished building a new performance simulation last week, or well, it's in the process of being built, but we just finished recording last week, a new performance simulation on virtual interviewing. So that'll be a whole new game that's getting ready to launch on the Academy this fall. And then also, we have a module in here on how social media can help or hurt you in your job search, and it will help your learners clean up their social media profile and build their LinkedIn profile. And then once you start that job, what are all the things that you need to know to set you up for success so that you keep it? So success in work starts with fundamentals like why it's important to be on time for work and how to plan out your route the night before. And then it moves on to topics of professionalism, teamwork and collaboration, conflict resolution, time management, seeking and acting on feedback, staying motivated, just really everything that you need to make sure that you're set up for success when you start that job. And then we just launched 72 new modules in these 8 courses listed below that go beyond, getting the job. It's for success in the digital economy, and just, emphasize it's a more holistic training around, continued learning and taking care of yourself at the same time with I love the emotional intelligence modules. I'm getting ready to start doing workshops with those this weekend, which is really exciting. But yeah, so lifelong learning, emotional intelligence, problem solving, thinking critically, those 4 courses just launched with all the media enhancements. And then the understanding technology, tech at work, exploring coding, and discovering data are simpler modules. But anyway, that's a long story. They don't have quizzes and they don't have audio. I don't know why I'm telling you this right now. Oversharing this morning, Thomas. We like to say that the Academy is like a flight simulator for the world of finding a job and what it's like at that job. And what we mean by that is that your learners meet characters who are facing real world career challenges, and then they help navigate those challenges and make decisions in a safe environment instead of making mistakes like in a real-time interview. And then we built in a career coach who offers guidance and encouragement to your learners and real-time feedback if they get off track. And then I said that we interviewed those employers, career advisors, and job seekers, and when we built the Academy here in the US, and we interviewed them live on camera. So your learners get real career counselors, employers, and job seekers who are sharing real life tips for success in the training itself. So we wanted to make it as realistic, relevant, and engaging as possible. And we did that by use of character storylines that are from various geographies and life experiences and who are all going out for different types of jobs. But we're always adding in new character storylines. So I just really like that when they were building the new performance simulations, they were trying to represent more people with disabilities and more refugees and immigrant storylines as well. So it's just great to see that we're trying to make sure that your learners will always find somebody they can relate to in the modules. All right, so I want to show you around the site now. Of course, it's closed. Hang on one second here. So I give you two types of access codes. I give you a staff access code for you and your fellow faculty members. And then I give you a learner, oh, of course I typoed that. And I give you a learner access code for your students. The only difference in this user interface is that you get access to these advisor materials here. Your learners will see everything else on the screen here. And I'll come back to all of the advisor materials in a moment, but when your learner logs in, they will land on this courses tab. And the first time that you log in, you're going to see these questions at the top here. This is a way to do a pre-assessment and create a custom learning journey if you want to do that. Oh, what just happened? Oh, did I stop sharing? No, it's still sharing. Okay, I don't know. The screen just went black for a second.
We can still see everything.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what just happened on my screen. All right, cool. So this is a pre-assessment that allows you to narrow down the focus of of which modules you want to take, but you can scroll down here and still see all of the modules and their respective courses by clicking on them here. So what I want to show you is all right, so let's say I want to brush up on my interview technique, and it's going to be a face-to-face interview. So it says here that I have 7 modules that I need to complete to get ready for this interview. And so these 7 modules will stay on this screen every time I log in until I click change at the top here. Now you can preset what your learners see here if you want, and pick the modules that you want them to have on their custom learning journey. You can either do it just like I did and use these questions to select some modules. And then so you got to the 7 by doing that. And then you come over to pre-register learners and you would just put in their email addresses, your access code would already be there, but you can just use my personal curriculum, and what you've just selected over there is what your student will now see. You can also just customize whatever you want and select it there and then register them at the bottom. All right, so I want to show you one of each type of module. Can you confirm how much time I have? I forget. Like, when am I done in the session? Is it 50 minutes?
You are done at 10:15, so you have plenty of time.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I'll do both. I'll demo both modules for you. So this is a performance simulation. This is the very first one in the Getting a Job course. It's Sam's first interview inside the academy. A little bit of a spoiler. He's not really prepared. He thinks he can win the interviewer over with his charm. And in the end, Sam doesn't really get the job. So, but your learners are encouraged to help him get better at interviewing, and then they get to help him apply at future systems later. But let's go into the wild together and check it out.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm going to give you help and feedback. Sam's about to arrive at an interview for a job at Grizzly Hotels in Yellowstone. The job is part of a countrywide program to encourage young people to work in our national parks. A week or so ago, he passed a screening interview over the phone. Yesterday, he participated in a group exercise, and now he's traveled to the hotel where he'll work if he gets the job. The program has paid for his travel. He's been asked to wear high visibility clothing in preparation for a tour of the maintenance departments. You're going to decide what
So
Sam
I
should
just like to play that intro to introduce you to Kayla. She's the career coach that's built into the academy and helps your learners along the way. And I'm sorry about the Teams notification. I'm trying to kill that. So let's go on into the interview together.
So, I'm Michael. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming to the group exercise stage yesterday. Did you have a good trip?
It's up to you to decide what happens next. Click each option to read it. Click watch to
So
see.
she says that you can hover over and see what he says in the text here, but sometimes when you hover over the boxes, the text remains the same. That means you have to watch to see how he says it. So this one, he says the same thing 3 different ways. So let's check out our options.
Yes, great, thanks. I got to talk with some of the hotel staff who were traveling with us, and we saw some buffalo on the way through the park, which was cool. The interviewer yesterday told me to give this to you. Here you
Call
go.
that one Sleepy Sam.
Yes, great, thanks. I got to talk with some of the hotel staff who were traveling with us, and we saw some buffalo on the way through the park, which was cool. The interviewer yesterday told me to give this to you. Here you go.
And the last one.
Yes, great, thanks. I got to talk with some of the hotel staff who were traveling with us, and we saw some buffalo on the way through the park, which was cool. The interviewer yesterday told me to give this to you. Here you go.
So when I run this work, so I just did this workshop this is the workshop that I did where the kid said it was the funnest thing he did all year. But when I do this with students, they usually will then tell me which one they want me to choose. And so we'll go with the second one here so we usually have a good answer, a kind of so-so answer that'll take you a little off track, and then an absolute wrong answer. So we'll go with the good one here.
Yes, great, thanks. I got to talk with some of the hotel staff who were traveling with us, and we saw some buffalo on the way through the park, which was cool. The interviewer yesterday told me to give this to you. Here you go.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, those bison are amazing, aren't they? You don't want to get on the wrong side of them.
And I love this interaction because no matter how much you prepare for an interview, a conversation can really throw you off, and how you handle it says a lot about your character. So Sam said he saw a buffalo on the way through the park, and the interviewer called it a bison, and Sam is a little confused. Let's see how he should respond. Let's start with the second one though.
Yeah, they are fascinating. Buffalo and bison, both fascinating. And yeah, you don't want to catch either of them on a bad day. So about this job.
That one he's clearly making up a response. Are we able to mute that other participant that I'm getting some feedback from?
Sorry, I'll do it right now.
Thanks so much. All right, let's watch the last one.
Bison? I don't think I've ever seen one of those. I saw a buffalo. Do they look alike?
That one's actually the right one because he asks a question for clarification. But what I want to show you is what happens if we choose the wrong answer.
Bison? I didn't see any bison. You aren't listening.
Yes, I was listening. I'm sorry, but you've come all the way here for nothing. Goodbye.
Whoops, that didn't go too well. Here's an overview of how you're doing. Click next to get more detailed feedback.
So if they make a mistake, Kayla's going to jump in and give them real-time feedback about what could have went wrong. So let's go on through it, the feedback.
I'm going to give you feedback on each decision you just made.
She explains here that you can rewatch the scenario. You can rewatch what you chose and what you rejected. And this is the first interaction that we got right. It was on the topic of body language.
Good job. You chose the right body language for Sam. He looked composed, confident, and well organized.
And then one of my favorite pieces of the Academy were those interviews that we did with those subject matter experts, because they were real stories that we got from them live on camera. And, you know, I know because I was one of those employers talking about the importance of researching the company before you go do your interview, because I had just started at Accenture back then. So I was like, baby Thomas, 9 years ago, built into the Academy. So it was kind of funny. But let's go watch this story about an employer talking about the importance of body language during an interview.
A time where I interviewed an individual who I thought would have been a great candidate for our company based on his application and his resume. And the second he walked in for the interview, he sat down, he didn't shake my hand, he slouched in a chair, his arms was folded. He just seemed like he didn't want to be there. And for me, that spoke a lot. His body language told me a lot about his personality, even though his work experience and his application showed that he would have been a good candidate, his body language told me something different. So we ended up not hiring the gentleman.
Before we even open,
I'm going to give
So
you
I just
feedback.
like to show that because that's like just a real reaction to that question that we got from her. So so in the well, I didn't show you the two different types of modules. In these performance simulations, those subject matter advisor videos are built into the feedback here. In the other type of module I'm going to show you in a minute, they're built right into the actual training itself. So all right, let's keep going and see what Kayla has to say about me telling the interviewer he wasn't listening.
Sam assumed Michael was talking about two different animals, and was rude about it too. It's always better to admit you don't know something instead of making assumptions.
And then there's the reference zone on that topic of assumptions.
Let's rewind and try again. This time, avoid making assumptions. Click next to continue.
So I like to demo the performance simulation games to this point to show you that if they make a mistake, they're going to get real-time feedback from Kayla, get a chance to learn from that mistake. And then now if I click next, I'll go back into the interview where we left off, and I have the opportunity to finish the interview and get through that module. Unlike real life, if you mess up an interview like that, you don't get a do-over. You just don't get the job. So we like to say this is a safe environment for them to learn from their mistakes. All right. So when I talked about the idea of blended learning in the online modules, I didn't highlight that we have two different types of modules. So there's 10 of those performance simulation games, and then there's 26 more traditional computer-based training modules. So if you have, 26 of the employability skills, computer-based training modules, there's 72 of them in the new skills now. So 98 CBTs, I need to get used to saying that. We just rolled them out last week. So so these modules are like any traditional online training that you may have taken before, as you'll see in a moment, with different interactive activities. And, there's quizzes built into these modules to help your student understand how well they're comprehending the material. So let's go in and check out Identify Your Skills. It's the most taken module across all of the Academy modules. And so I'm just going to show you a brief interaction in the middle of this module. Up to this point, your learners will have already learned what transferable skills are, how to apply them. They'll have worked with the character Angela, and we're going to hear Daniel's story, but I think I need to jump back a couple pages, so you might see me do that in a second.
Play the video to hear Daniel talk about his life. Remember to jot down the experiences you believe highlight a skill.
We were right on the right page.
so yeah, baseball's my thing. Being captain for the quarterly baseball tournament was a big deal at my gym. Thought it made me so important. Got to tell people what to do, when to do it, and yeah, we won the tournament. In high school, my friends and I were interested in music. Started off as messing around, but now we're in a garage band. I even took classes to learn the bass. We played in loads of places, and I had to organize it all, sorting out times, venues, how much we charged, and everything. Once I even had to find a spare drum kit for our drummer. He managed to lose his. I mean, how do you lose a drum kit?
As you did with Angela, now you're going to help Daniel pick out his skills. Click on the parts of the text where you think Daniel's experience contains a skill. There are 9 to find. If you choose correctly, the text will be highlighted. Click on Answers if you get stuck.
All right, so if I was the learner, I would say that probably being a captain had some skill to it, that he got to tell people what to do and when to do it might be have some skill in there. But I want to call out that our pages are, based on triggers, either a timer trigger to make sure that they watch or listen to whatever is on the screen, or that they interact with what they're supposed to interact with on this page. So as you see, I can't move past this page because I haven't found all of them or clicked answers. So let's see what I'm missing.
The highlighted text shows Daniel's experiences that contain a skill. Click Next to see Daniel's list. Now that you have identified all of Daniel's experiences that could contain skills, you need to work out what these skills are. Click on each experience to view the skills each experience contains.
Working with other people is a really important skill in most jobs, so teamwork is high up on the list for many employers. Captaincy is normally associated with leadership skills, but a good captain will also have strong communication, motivational, and organizational skills.
So I'll just mute that while I just click through. But this is how I wanted to show you how the modules differ in their interactions, right? The other one is a performance simulation game, and this is a more, deep dive into a learning of a specific topic with these different interactive activities. And these modules are where I would say, like you saw Daniel's video a moment ago, built right into the training module itself. That's how we've built in those subject matter experts into these modules as well. So when you get to like getting a job module 9 and you see this guy on the page, just skip that page, it's fine. So these modules, I like to call out on this screen that the Academy is screen reader compatible as well for learners with disabilities who need to use a screen reader. But on a page like this that has a lot of interactions and a lot of objects on the screen, it can be very tedious for those types of learners. So for learners that you're using the screen reader, so that we've actually built a skip on the page that will skip right over to this notes page, and the screen reader will just read this one smooth reading to them, and it really enhances their user experience. Because if you've done any screen reader testing, it's very tedious when it says box that says baseball, box that says teamwork, so we try to make it a better user experience for all types of learners. And then these modules end in a quick 5-question quiz. The performance simulation games don't have a quiz because if you get through the module, it's pretty much a quiz in itself, because you can't complete it unless you get everything right. But in these modules, we give them a quick 5-question quiz, and then there's a little survey, and then they will be able to go download the activity pack for this module. And all right, so the activity pack is an optional additional activity that goes beyond what they just learned in that module. So and the activity packs are also offered in Spanish. So if you have any learners who are not able to get through the module very well because it's only offered in English, they can still learn the material from this activity pack. We did some extensive studies on the activity packs to make sure that they work as standalone material. You may also have learners who are in a rural setting or do not have access to technology, so they can't take the modules on their own. You can still print out and give them these activity packs to complete. Again, it will help them still learn the content without going through the module. But these are those optional editable PDF forms that deep dive into whatever that module's topic was. So on Identify Your Skills, it's going to have you look at the different areas of life that have experiences that could contain skills. It's going to break apart those different areas of life and start asking you questions. And then as you start working through these activities, you can just type your responses here because these are editable forms. And then your students, if I would assume if you give them an assignment and it's all adult basic education as everybody here, right? So like, I don't know if you give them homework and they turn in homework and with your interactions with them, but if you wanted them to turn in something to you, they could turn in this activity pack. Or you could have them turn in their progress page if you want to see that they have completed specific modules that you've requested of them. So over here I showed you the courses tab. Over here on the progress tab, you're going to see how you're doing across all the modules in the Academy. You'll see that I've completed Into the Wild. It's the full bar that shows that it's complete. The half bar means that I've opened that module, but I have not gotten all the way to the last page. So it is not complete. And then the thin blue sliver just means that I have not started this module at all. This page also shows you the highest quiz score that was achieved. So if your learner wants to retake the quiz, they can, and to try to get a higher score, but it does randomize questions, so they can't just write down the correct answer and then retake it. But it will save the highest score. And then the modules that say no quiz, you know that those are a performance simulation. So they can email this progress page into you, or if like you use a learning management system of some sort, like Blackboard or Bright. I know like there's a adult Office of Adult Education in South Carolina that uses Brightspace, and they're building this out in Brightspace right now. But you can link to all the modules by just right-clicking on them and copying the link and put those into your assignment. And then you could even just give them the link to the progress page and say, you know, go to the progress page and send yourself a copy of your progress page and upload that here, or something like that. You could do a printout of the page and have them upload that too. You also have the ability to turn this into a certificate of completion. It'll be the certificate on page 1, and page 2 will show you all of the modules that are 100% complete. So that is the progress page and how to have students self-report progress to you. I tell you that these ways to have your students self-report their progress because since the Academy is a completely free resource, we keep our security risk low. So we don't collect any personal identifiable information on your learners. So we don't have a way for you to like have a dashboard to say that, you know, Brenda, the student, has actually completed module, you know, Into the Wild or whatever that I required of her. Brenda has to turn that progress page into me or turn in an activity pack or something to me to show me that, you know, whatever I require of her to turn in is what she would have to show me. So that's why I show you ways to link it into your learning management system. If you use like Google Classroom or Canvas or Moodle or Brightspace or Blackboard. I have examples of how all of those, how the modules have been built out in those platforms. So if you need to see some screenshots or something, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to share those with you to help you build it out in your LMS. All right, so that is the courses tab, the progress tab, and both types of modules. Over here on the advisor tab, if I already showed you the pre-register learners, you don't actually have to pre-select anything for those learners, you know, to see. You could just put in their email addresses and hit register and it will just send them the link to finish registration. Or we give you a I wish I had, let me open this one. I wanted to show you something else, but I don't see. Oh, it's right here. We also give you a URL that is for registration as well. And I just want to show you that slide. Since I have extra time, I can actually show you a little bit more. Right here. So we give you a URL for your students to register. That's actually probably the easiest way. Like if you want to put it into your learning management system as well, you would just create you would create an assignment that's like create your login to the Skills to Succeed Academy. You give them this URL. So wanted to show you that, or you can do the pre-registration. Then the workshop like we're doing today, maybe we would have walked through a whole module. Then I would go in here to the group report and I would just put in the date, how long did that last, how many learners participated, and submit that. So the group report is there. All of the activity packs are available for you here. The student has access to them on the very last page of the module, but you have the ability to access them here. One thing I really want to call out is this module guide and diagnostic. This is the module guide that breaks down all of the modules in detail for you so you don't have to learn the content. In this document, and I can just put this in the chat, because you all can open this and explore it now if you wanted to or at any point, but it is available for you there. I like to call out section 2.2 and then section 4. 2.2 is just for planning. It's kind of like that pre-assessment that I did on the site earlier where I said I wanted to get ready for a face-to-face interview. You can scroll through here and see all of the different topics that are covered by the Academy and then what their associated modules are. So you saw that I said that I wanted to get ready for a face-to-face interview, and it gave me those 7 modules, so they're listed right here. So this is probably easier for you as an instructor or somebody that's planning out how to roll this out to look through and just highlight which modules you want to implement. Since it is that modular format, teachers love that they can customize it to whatever your students' needs are. All right, so then in section 4 down below, this is where the module guides start. And just to stay on the theme of identifying your skills, so this is going to help you as you roll it out so that you don't have to go through each module, learn the content, and then create like a discussion plan. This is going to be your individual module crib sheet. So if you can see that it's going to take your student 25 minutes to get through that module, 45 minutes if you assign the activity pack. It's going to teach you what the learning objectives were, what characters were in there, notes about what they just learned in this module. If they did the activity pack, here's the activities that they completed, the key points and takeaways from this module. It's going to remind you if there is a quiz at the end of the module, so you can remember to say, hey, students, if you want credit or whatever you're incentivizing them with, to, when you turn in your progress page, make sure that you got 80% on your quiz or something, right? Like 4 out of 5 is always a good thing to encourage them to get. And then this is a lot of instructors' favorite parts, these participant discussion questions. So I had one instructor of a WEO youth program that said, Thomas, this document made the rollout of the Academy a 0 effort for me because I just skimmed through, figured out which modules I wanted. Then when I implemented them, I just read through this module guide to understand what they just learned. And then I read through these participant discussion questions as you had written them. And I sparked really meaningful conversations with my students. So I love that quote. And so other instructors other instructors like to take some of these discussion questions and put them in an assignment for them to respond to after they get through the module, right? And on as kind of a journaling activity as well. So lots of options, very versatile for how you can roll it out. We've got some great getting started materials here, and the new skills now module guides are here as well. Then we've got, I talked about how the Academy is screen reader compatible. This document shows you the level of ADA compliance that we meet. And then we've got our new skills now workshops that pair with those new modules, the lifelong learning, emotional intelligence, etc. But we've got facilitator-led workshops that are available for you to help you run these new so that you can run like a class discussion around the topic that they just went through. So these are a little different than the career readiness. I'm just trying to figure out. I think it opened in the middle of the document. Okay. I was like, where are the actual slides? Okay. Yeah. So we've got these slides that pair well with those new skills now, that deep dive into those topics. I just did this one with some cybersecurity students at a conference with my partner. They were like, yeah, I want to talk about the growth and fixed mindset workshop. Let's do that. So it was fun. All right, just wanted to showcase that because that's new and show you where the new skills now workshops are, because we're about done. You have the ability to create your certificates, create certificates for your students as well. They have that ability to create them on the site, but you have the ability to create them for them if you want. And I said on the site, I meant on the progress page. We've got some great promotional materials down here for you, including that access to that video that I showed earlier on the call. marketing messaging, social media toolkit, etc. So lots of things for you available here. So these are the different ways that we see it delivered. The computer lab approach is really where all learners have their own device, and you're getting them started, helping them get registered in the classroom, and then getting them started on a module in that computer lab setting, and maybe you're facilitating discussion around the topic that they are learning. The homework approach, just like it sounds, assigning modules to learners to take outside of the session with you and then come back to you for targeted coaching and feedback, or using the discussion guides to further discussion on the topic. The Career Center approach, like a learner comes to you and says, oh, I need to build a resume. You're like, all right, let's go figure out which modules you need to take to get ready to build your resume. They learn about the different parts of a resume, how to put one together through the Academy module. They download the activity pack. They start putting together start building their content and putting it together in one of our templates in the back of that activity pack. And now they can come to you for targeted coaching and feedback on what they created from the Academy, as opposed to you teaching them all of the basics. And then the presenter approach, just like we did today, you could present it across a virtual platform like this, or projecting it live in a classroom. Have your learners vote on which response to choose, and then make sure you do that group report to report those in, so that you help me reach my 20,000 learner goal for the year. These are the different audiences, organizations, and programs that we see using the Academy. And so as you can see, it's really used by everyone, from high schools, colleges, nonprofits, to government agencies, with youth, adults, senior citizens, learners with disabilities, veterans, justice-involved youth, and adults, Head Start parents, TANF recipients, refugees. Yes, it's used in a lot of ESL courses, English as a second language course. I see it in a lot of ESL, and I think that the ESL instructors like the Academy because we have audio, video, and text for everything so it's there's multiple, it's multiple sensory learning or something. But they're able to read while they're listening or whatever. So I know that an ESL course at Dallas College in Texas, they like to use it to practice English as well while they're learning how to get better at build the skills to get a job. Anyway, the third column is really what we see in community development programming. And then the fourth column is what we're seeing in our community, a sampling of some community college programs. But we have a lot of success stories in this deck, and I can reach out, or I can send you, will we be able to send out these slides to anyone, Brenda?
You should be able to, and Patrick's will make them available, I believe, make them available also.
Okay, great. So yeah, or you can reach out to me. I can put my Campbell, if you're on the call, put my email in the chat. But we have all these success stories in the deck. We have, when you get access to the deck, make sure you check out the appendix, because I have all of them down in there. But I really like to share Charles's story in the middle. He was autistic, borderline intellectual functioning, and had ADHD. He was a high school graduate with no work history or transferable skills, and he thought he would never get a job, is what Goodwill's employment specialist said that he would tell them all the time. But they worked with him to assist him with building his job readiness skills, including appropriate interview behavior, how to research jobs, and how to network. And he got a job offer from a major retailer as a cart attendant. But and last we heard from Charles, he was getting compliments from customers and coworkers and working towards more independence. But the success stories really vary in types of learners and types of faculty. So like you see Philip on the left, a tech enthusiast, and Tony on the right that was just an unemployed adult, like looking for a new job. So like lots of different examples of learners that and even faculty that have implemented the the program. So I love the one in the middle on this one as well, the Career Compass program. When the world went virtual in 2020, they had to pivot to a new summer employment program due to restrictions with face-to-face learning. And she saw me do this demo back then on a Chamber of Commerce call and reached out to me, and she actually incorporated all 36 employability skills modules into that 4-week program that summer, where they completed 6 to 11 modules each week. She had them email in their progress page by 10 a.m. each Friday for accountability, and she used those journaling questions from the module guide, and she held like regular webinars like 4 days a week with them to debrief on what they learned. And she's the one that said that this document saved her life, and she just read through those questions. She said that it just made it so easy, but and said even in a virtual setting, discussions were robust and full of insight. Now they've transitioned back to an in-person format, or maybe it's even hybrid right now, and it's still extremely successful. So but the quote at the bottom is what I love the most. Out of one of the journaling activities, she had asked for feedback on what they thought about the modules that week, or maybe it was at the end of the program. And the person said, I didn't know anything about jobs or careers. I thought I was never going to do anything in my life, but I learned about careers. I learned about building my skills and about myself. I loved this program. So I just thought that was a cute quote that a student put into a journaling activity about what they liked about our platform that cycle. So from all of those success stories, these are the benefits that we've pulled out of them. So learners love that they can access the Academy anytime, any place, and learn in a more gamified learn by doing approach. They can learn in a safe environment with feedback and coaching, and they can personalize the training to their immediate needs. It helps them build their soft skills along with some hard skills and their digital literacy skills. Advisors and faculty love that it saves you time in developing content and delivering foundational training, and it frees up your time for more targeted coaching, and you can personalize this to an individual learner or to a cohort of learners. And then the organization as a whole gets to provide high quality online employability training at no additional cost and no development effort, and it builds capacity within your organization. It can complement existing programs, or you can create a new, we've seen organizations create new programs around the Academy, and you can reach new learners and create a partnership with Accenture that could reach other ways if you ever needed them to, because we always have apprenticeship opportunities for people with specific tech skills, things like that. So the cybersecurity org that I work with, they're always trying to get students into that. So if you would like to get access to the Academy, you can just reach out to me at my email address there, or scan this QR code, which would be way easier. And actually I can drop the link into that survey in the chat, which would probably be easier. Instead of scanning the QR code, since you're all on a computer. So just give me a second. But does anybody have any questions while I pull this up? Because I can give you the link to the survey. You can just fill it out. We can get you some information about your free access.
There was one question earlier, Thomas, and the person was asking if they said we can use the advisor tab to assign modules, but are not able to check the student's progress.
That is correct, because we don't collect any personal identifiable information on the students. So so when they register, all they give is an email address, a password, what their age range is, if they want to answer it, what their gender is, if they want to answer that, and what is their current employment status. And so we don't, and so even the email address is scrambled on the back end into a unique ID. So I don't have any way to show you that, Brenda, the student, has actually completed whatever I've required. That's why I was showing you do have to have them turn in their progress page or something like that to show you that they have completed their modules. And I mean, that's just so we can keep our security risk low. So of course I'm not able to get to Office. you know, this Thursday, nothing's working for me this morning.
It's Technology Thursday, not working day.
I mean, hey, I at least you heard all the audio, you heard everything that was needed, so that's good. All right. I'm getting this link to myself so I can drop it in the chat. No other questions from anyone? Does anybody have any feedback like, oh, this looks exciting or anything like that? You ready to start using it? We have a goal of reaching 20,000 learners this fiscal year. And it is, we are just at like 70% of that. I'm trying to get 6,000 more learners by the end of August. So if you can help me get there, that would be great. Otherwise, I didn't actually need like 75 minutes. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut it a little short today.
There was one other question, and this person would like to know, are there any printable materials?
Yeah, those activity packs are great materials to be printed out, and they can be used as a homework assignment to fill, you know, they teach the content, but we'll also, you know, have activities for them to complete in there. So all those activity packs are available to you on the advisor tab.
Awesome. Any more questions? You got a couple people that are really excited about this product, so that's awesome, Thomas. Thank you so much for presenting to all of us today, and we appreciate you sharing your information with all of us here through MACAE. And again, everyone, Patrick will make those presentation materials available to you. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it.